Senator Mullin is here. Here's Senate Majority Leader John Thune. He was on with us earlier this week.
Failure here is not an option, and this is the fulfillment and implementation, this bill, of the president's agenda. It's securing the border, it's modernizing our military, it's making America energy dominant, it's tax relief for working families, it's reducing the size and scale and cost of government by getting rid of waste, fraud, and abuse. This is what the American people voted for, and that's what we intend to deliver.
So the sausage process is not pretty. It is happening right now. These are the senators to watch right now. We'll put them up on the board for everyone to see. People have a bit of, everyone's got a little bit of a different problem with the bill. I think that it'll pass in the end, but what are the hurdles that you have to clear between now and then, sir?
Well, what that shows is there's a lot of elected officials that have strong opinions. At the end of the day, that's what we negotiate on. We're trying to get a bill that isn't going to be perfect, but it has more reasons to vote for than against. The biggest issues we're dealing with is SALT. That's still a...
Can you explain that for people that might not understand it back home?
Yeah, so SALT is state and local taxes, and then you could deduct it from your federal taxes. The issue you have with this is blue states typically have very high state and local taxes, and a lot higher than red states. So the gripe is that they get to claim this from out of their federal taxes, and basically red states have to offset it. And so it's a real sticky point. There's only about 5 members in the House that actually come from those SALT states, is what we call it. There's no senators that come from blue states. So there's a big gap between the House and the Senate when it comes to this. The fact is we need the SALT guys because they have to put the 218 on the vote or on the board, and so we need to pass something in the Senate that they can deal with. It's expensive though. It's really, Dana, it's a really expensive price tag. So we've been negotiating. I was with Secretary Bassett last night working with the SALT guys. There was a lot of back and forth. We have spent hours, I'm not joking, hours with the White House on this for the last week, trying to find a landing spot. And I don't think either side's going to be great with it, but once again, it's not necessarily about a strong deal. It's about having more reasons to vote for it than against it, and that's part of the negotiations. And then Medicaid is also obviously a big sticking point in the Senate and the House.
That was my next question, is what is going to happen with the proposed Medicaid cuts?
Well, Ron John's got some really strong points on this. Rick Scott, Tom Tillis, Josh Hawley. The fact is everybody's putting their input in it, and we've got to come up with a solution that we can get 51 votes on the Senate floor with. That's what we're doing. And so yesterday we had a very good, productive conference where things are starting to shake out. Everybody has said their piece. Everybody has been responsible for trying getting their votes on their idea. And I think we're going to come out with something this weekend that we can pass on the Senate floor, get to the House. House is going to be able to pass, and the President will be able to sign it on July 4th.
Okay.
Or before, but I believe it's going to be ceremonial that he signs it on July 4th. It'll be kind of a neat thing.
I think it will pass, but it's going to be a tough weekend for everybody.
It'll pass.
I want to ask you about this. I'm not going to play the sound just for time, but there were many Democrats who cast doubt yesterday on the intel briefing that they got about the bombing in Iran. They are saying that it was deliberately misleading, for example. Senator Murphy said that. Your thoughts on that before we let you go?
Senator Murphy's lying. And I'll tell you that he's absolutely lying. All he's trying to do is audition for the 28 presidential election cycle. There's no one that could have walked out of that hearing or that classified briefing and said that America didn't win on this. Just think about this one, Dana. I got to say this real quick. There is no way that President Trump, who was the first president to actually deliver on what Clinton, Bush, Obama, and Biden all said that Iran could never have a nuclear weapon. The only person that did something about it was President Trump. So why would we go in there when we control the airspace and leave before we had the job done when we were already started doing the job? No one ran us out of the airspace. We could have stayed there for 5 days if we wanted to. The job was complete, and President Trump pulled the people home. And now, guess what? Now there's starting to be peace in the Middle East for the first time because President Trump had the backbone to do something, but yet the Democrats are still rooting for America to lose against a country who has been attacking us for 40 years and chanting death to America, and we finally did something to quiet them up. and yet it's still not good enough for the Democrats. It's because their absolute hatred towards President Trump that they want America to lose and not win. Everybody should be celebrating this victory, regardless of what side of the aisle you're on, because this is about America and the safety of America today and tomorrow.
Well, the other thing is that what was different now than previous administrations is that the Israelis had made these conditions possible. And President Trump worked with them, but that these Democrats won't even give the Israelis credit for that.
No, absolutely not. But keep in mind, too, it's because of the strong relationship between President Trump and the trust that, that the Israeli administration and the IDF have on President Trump having their back. They couldn't have done this with Biden in the office because there's a tremendous amount of mistrust. Yeah. And because of that mistrust, they wasn't willing to share actual intel information that we needed to be able to make the right decisions. But that's why you have that's a difference in leadership between President Biden and President Trump.
Elections have consequences. Thank you, sir. Right. Good to see you.
Thank you.